Good morning, Lionhearts. It's a beautiful day in Los Angeles, California. We are starting it out here at Lake Hollywood Park. And you know why? Because that guy has demands that need to be met. So let's do it. Park time. Well, we have a ton to do today, guys. This is going to be like full-on action-packed, running errands, running around all day. But it's going to be awesome because, well, one of the things that I have to do is I actually have my very first physical therapy appointment, which I don't know if I really need it. My hand seems to be able to close and it's doing fine now, but since it was scheduled and they have me scheduled for 12 appointments, the doctor even said, he's like, basically by the time that they approve your physical therapy and they schedule it, you won't even need it. But at the time that they called me, which was like 2 weeks ago, my hand wasn't perfect and my wrist was hurting and stuff, so figured it was better safe than sorry to go and at least meet with them once. And then we're gonna head off, do a vlog of one of my favorite movie locations. I've never been there, but it's one of my favorite movies and it's one of my favorite places from the movie. And then we're gonna head over to John's house. He's having a barbecue. Then we're gonna head over to Time Warp Records and John is playing an in-store there. This thing's gonna be going all night. We probably won't get the vlog uploaded on time, but you guys will understand. Daze with Jordan the Lion begins now. Every time they try and pass the ball, this dog ran. He always jumps up and tries to take it from him. It's hilarious. Oh, look who's coming! Look who's coming! This is my friend Sarah. She's a fantastic comedian. One of the best in the country, honestly. And she's taking on her dog Maverick right now. Alright gang, we're going to be taking off for my physical therapy appointment here pretty soon. And if you're wondering why I switched glasses, it's because today's vlog is actually for a Patreon. And I had sent him an email this morning when I decided what I was going to do today, and I hadn't got a response back from him to know whether or not he wanted me to do this for him. But he said he's a big fan. Macho Man sunglasses. The Big Lebowski. I hope you enjoy this, my friend. Marshall Brooks, this vlog is for you. Let's go, guys! Well, believe it or not, right here's the shopping plaza where the dude rolls up to pick up Walter. And Walter is actually right here in front of this first section right there. You see those 3 plates? Walter's standing right in front of that first window, holding the Uzi and his bag of dirty undies that is going to work as the ringer in the Big Lebowski when they go off to do the bag exchange. So you see Walter come out. Walter walks across the front of the car like this, stands right here and says, "Slide over."
Where the fuck are you going, man?
Take the ringer. I'll drive.
What? The what?
The ringer.
It's a ringer. The dirty undies, my whites. And then we see the car of the dude go driving out here, and right there where that Walgreens is across the street, that actually used to be a Del Taco.
The ringer, dude.
Out of this driveway, and they'd make a right. Well, I actually fought through all the traffic, finally made my way through the Miracle Mile. That's what this section's called. And these houses in this section are amazing. Nothing like, nobody really famous, but just really great architecture. It's like Art Deco style. And the whole Miracle Mile, this whole neighborhood's just like it. So I'm actually right across the street from my physical therapy appointment, my very first one. And of course I'm late, so I called them and make sure they could still see me because I'm late. And he's like, "Oh yeah, you're okay." So, woo, no worries. Do this, then we're gonna head off to Venice, then backtrack a little bit and go visit John. And it looks like it's up here in this clock tower looking place. Yep, that's the place. Not the graphics place, the physical therapy place. Graphics place may do physical therapy as well. I don't know. I just don't have an appointment with them. Yeah, that's an understatement. Story of my life. I'm always on camera. Alright, well, we're done. Basically what they did was, for the first appointment, they ran my hand through a bunch of tests, and what they realized was that the tendon that connects from here down, there's actually 2. I think it's called, I forget, It's like a bunch of letters, FD something. There's one that goes through your hand up to here, which is where my tumor was, and then there's one that goes from your hand all the way up to here, and it basically makes your hand like a big spider web, which is hilarious. But the one that goes from here down has gotten weak because they did some incisions in it, and then my actual grip strength, she found out what that has gotten weak too, and my wrist strength. So basically those are the things she's going to be working on, is my wrist, my and the wrist is part of the grip strength, so it'll just be all that stuff. So I have 2 to 3 appointments a week for the next 2 weeks, and then it'll balance out to 1 or 2, and basically 12 appointments in total. This is the kind of stuff you see a lot of out in Joshua Tree and in Pioneer Town, but I love it. So as soon as I drove past it with the old wagon wheel and stuff like that in there, I was like, you know what? Somebody's got a creative mind. Let me show this off for them. Pretty cool. Now we're off to the Dude's neighborhood, or El Duder, or El Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing. Right here is the Dude's apartment. So most of the shots that you see here are actually inside the apartment. You're introduced to the Dude through this apartment, and I will, they have it all gated off and everything, but you're introduced to the Dude from this apartment, and you can actually see that centerpiece in the movie. That little, there was like a statue on it, but his apartment would be just to the right over there. You see him walking in with his creamer in that opening scene. Opens up the door, and as soon as he walks in, Wu and the 2 henchmen that are looking for Bunny come in and run him into the bathroom and give him a swirly, basically. Then you'll also see him here when he's listening to his bowling tapes on cassette. This is where they throw the ferret in the bathtub with him and everything, but this was the Dude's place, if you can believe it. Now, when you also see this is when the Dude comes back in the limousine that's being driven by one of the greatest comedians of all time, Dom Herrera. They actually have him, you're supposed to believe he's parked right in front of his apartment building, but when he gets out, he's saying goodbye to Tony, and you actually see the driver for the other Lebowski, the millionaire. Their limousine's parked right over here, because you see the driver for the other Lebowski grab him and run him across the street, and you see these 2 trees, because you can actually see that there's a palm tree and a regular tree off to the side of the limousine that would have been parked here, and that's when he gets thrown inside the car and he says, "Hey man, there's a beverage here," because he's still carrying his White Russian.
No! Fuck!
In the limo, you son of a bitch, no argument.
Hey, careful, man. There's a beverage here, huh?
So once he gets done with his talk with the Big Lebowski and they say that now her death is on your head, we see him get out, and Tony had just pointed down here and said, "Hey, who's that guy that's been following us?"
Who's your friend in a Volkswagen?
Huh?
So right down here is where the private dick, like I mentioned before, the private detective that's hired by Bunny Lebowski's parents to track her down, Fawn Knutson, and you can actually see that he's parked right in between these 2 trees. So cool, man. I love this stuff. Like I said, I've been a fan of this movie forever, and this is the first time I've ever been out here. This is the first time since I've been doing this that I found the address, and I was like, I gotta go. Now I know that it's not the same because they have it all like gated and locked up and everything, but since this vlog is for Marshall Brooks and his Patreon and his sunglasses, your sunglasses are now sitting on the Dude's address and the Dude's front door. The unemployed Jeffrey Lebowski. the dude for his time and place. And I have not even tried, but if this opens, I will walk in. Nope, it's worth a try. So just to give you a little bit of a wider scope, his apartment's right here, and that green building that you see him get bum rushed into the limousine right in front of would have been right there. And then the limousine that Tony pulls up would have been right here where this red Frontier truck is, right in that one single solitary spot. If you're not a Big Lebowski fan, I mean, you know, it's weird. The Big Lebowski's not the greatest movie of all time. It's not the greatest script of all time. There's just something about it. When I came for my very first visit to Los Angeles, the friend that I stayed with put this movie on and said, if you're moving to Los Angeles, you have to see this movie. And it's just always been a staple. I always loved it. He took me around to the Del Taco and things like that on my first trip here to show me, you know, just to make the movie more real. And I don't know if it's the dialogue or the great acting by Jeff Bridges or just the believability of the whole story. The unbelievably believable storyline, if that makes any sense. And we would have also seen, I just remembered, we would have also seen when the dude's about to crash his car, we see him run into that dumpster right off to the side of here. And if I can find any of these clips on online, I'll definitely match them up for you guys. I hope you're all Big Lebowski fans. Like I said, I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but man, I just love it, and it blows me away when people tell me they're not fans. I'm not quite ready to admit defeat yet. Since there was no driveway, I'm kind of wondering if there's a way in through this way. Well, I think I found that new bed I was talking about. Jeez. Doesn't look like there's a way in. Looks like this is the parking spaces and garages for the building, but there's no way in from this side. Now that's one of the weirder places to park your bicycle. But you stick with what works. Well, no luck getting in, so I got like an hour or two to kill. Who says we go to Venice Beach? Let's hang out on the boardwalk. I guarantee right now somebody's saying, oh, he's in Venice, he better be doing the doors. No, I'm not doing the doors. I've done plenty of doors vlogs. I've done at least 5 of them, and every time I go anywhere that the doors even walked across the ground, somebody says, why didn't you do the doors? I'm not doing the doors. Oh wow, check that out. Okay, here's as much of a Doors vlog as you're getting today. That's Sid Vicious, that's not the Doors, that's Marilyn. There's Kurt, there's your Doors vlog, guys. There you go. A whopper-jawed-eyed, Frankenstein-looking Jim Morrison. Oh, little Pink Panther action. Route 66. It sure does. That's funny, I was just telling Adam the Woo one of my dream vlogs is to do a cross-country Easy Rider vlog, hit all the locations. Can you guys imagine having jaw painted on the side of my house? This guy Muckrock has done all the street art in this neighborhood. Alright gang, we made it down to Venice, and I think we'll just hang out here for like an hour, chill. I remembered I got my favorite reggae bracelet down here for like $2, $3, so maybe I'll go ahead and see if I can find another one and just replace it. Check out the sights and all the beautiful people down here. Well, all these people are actually over here because this is the Venice Beach skate park. Let's go take a look.
It's like when you play piano and you know what you're doing.
what's kind of funny is I am absolutely the least beach dressed person out here. I have those tan boots of mine on. I have my new jeans, 2 shirts. Everybody else is out here in beach gear. Welcome to my world. There we go. The white man can't jump courts. Well, there's Muscle Beach, where Sting and Hulk Hogan and those kind of guys used to work out. Look at this cool guy. How many Zoltars are there at this beach? Me? I love Frank Zappa, so that's just like, that's right in my wheelhouse. What's the story with Frank Zappa?
Okay, the story behind that Frank Zappa door is actually that door belongs to Frank Zappa's house in Laurel Canyon. I guess Lady Gaga just bought it, but she didn't like all the doors. So I have a friend of mine who's a collector. His name is Ronnie Ballinger. He bought like all kinds of stuff with Frank Zappa. He bought a jacket for like $5,000 and he's wearing it around.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy. But anyway, he bought like $80,000 or $90,000 worth of his collectibles. And among that, it was like a great deal that he got just like regular Frank Zappa's house. And I go, you know what? I was thinking of you, and I bought all these kinds of doors on it, and you were paying on them. And that's the second one ever.
And that's the door in question. Only 50 bucks. So look at the side of this building. And this is the other side. What a great mural. And here's the other side. Nice little touch here. Now I am totally cool with the tagging all that abandoned property. That looks awesome. I recognize that. Movie fans, this is where Steve Martin and Sarah Jessica Parker come for their colonics in LA Story. Well, now we're making our way down these little back walkways that cut between pretty much the main drag in Venice back to the beach. And there's all kinds of stuff to see here for sure, like this American flag. We're gonna make our way over to John's place now. Wow, would you look at those? That's pretty cool. Looks like it's made out of like fishing wire. It's like a camel. And this joker with the Tim Tracker mustache. And this is what it's here for. Symbolizes camel rides in Venice. Mr. Abbott Kinney created Venice of America in 1905 as a mashup of Venice, Italy, and Coney Island. He built miles of canals, Italian architecture, dance and concert halls, a saltwater plunge, wild roller coasters, and in time for the grand opening, he bought amusements from the Chicago and St. Louis World's Fair, including Streets of Cairo with its live camel rides. Pretty cool. Word up. Even though I would have loved to have had that Frank Zappa door, you can't collect everything, guys, and right now I just can't justify spending 50 bucks right now on something that heavy that would probably pull my whole wall down. So hopefully somebody that loves Frank as much as me will get it. If my grandma were alive, she'd be looking at this building right now and saying, I'd hate to wash all those windows.
Weird like that?
And food. Tonight is John's record release party, and we're setting up the backyard for the party, and he actually built this little tree house himself for his kids. And I got a new Patreon, which today was the last day for the Patreon. Ike and Tina wallpaper, so by the time you see this, it's already too late. Brelock, thank you very much. Well, John had a pretty good turnout of all of his friends have come out to party at his house before we walked down about 2 blocks to a place called Time Warp Records, Time Warp Music. It's actually both. They have a recording studio, they have musical instruments, and we're all gonna go and watch John perform his new album, which is what we're listening to now.
Shut up in my head, please. She's talking to me.
Started talking and a trip before 2 legs he was walking. I was in the barn, happy and willing, till I looked up at the house and I got these feels. Joking, I dreamt all night, so vivid, so clear, so real. Woke up in sweat, my taste was keen. Everything else was like a surreal dream. Happy hour sushi tasted so fishy and sick.